During the fall, like many classes before them, the Woodward Oklahoma class of 1992 recently met for their 30th class reunion. And like most small-town reunions, there was a homecoming parade. Friends met for lunch and attended the local high school football game on Friday night. Old friends caught up and reminisced about stories from the past. The class of 92 also met at a local lodge to enjoy food and stories and one other item, a time capsule. A time capsule that everyone had forgotten about, really. It was a dusty Rubbermaid container that was supposed to be opened in 2012 during their 20th reunion, but it was apparently lost and recently found. And here it was. We expected the standard stuff, magazines, music, pictures, and other heirlooms from 92. It was all those items and more. The capsule also contained 3 videotapes. Tapes of what? Well, it seemed no one really knew or remembered what was on the tapes. We didn't have a VCR handy to view them because, well, we weren't expecting them. But I knew what was on the tapes because I'd shot much of the footage 31 years earlier. It was made during a high school event that we called Future Day, and it was actually recorded at the end of our junior year on May 16th, 1991. And what was the footage? Well, I remember it as driving around town showing what the town looked like that day. It was also on-the-spot interviews, asking students, what would they be doing in 20 years? Would they be married? Would they have kids? What kind of job would they have? So I headed home with the tapes after the reunion, and I was going to convert them to a digital format, and after I finished, I thought, I should do these interviews again. The same people 31 years later. Would they be willing to interview again? Did their predictions come true? What was it like living in a small town and being a kid in that video? Well, let's see if we can find out.
How are you doing, Amber?
Thanks. Good. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. We have some old footage from 31 years ago, and you made some predictions about what your life would be and what you would be doing. And so let's show those real quick, and then we're going to come back and we'll see what you got right and discuss it a little bit. So here we go. Here's the footage.
Hey, my full name is Amber Michelle Craddock. In 20 years, I think that I'll probably be living in Montana and being a horse trainer, hopefully. And I'll probably be married to Jeremy still, maybe. The problems of the world, overpopulation definitely. And if everyone doesn't get together and do what they're supposed to, probably be a lot worse than that. Ooh, additional comments. I don't know, just have fun while I'm young enough to do it, I guess. Okay, can I...
Okay, so let's see here. You said you were going to be living in Montana as the first thing. So are you with us today from Montana?
No.
No? So that one didn't come. So where are you talking to us from?
Fargo.
Oh, just Fargo, Oklahoma.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm going to go over them and then we can talk about it. Live in Montana, horse trainer. Now, did you say married to Jeremy Steele? Or is that a person, or like I'll still be married to that person? What did you say there?
No, that's who I dated in high school. Not.
Got you.
No, did not marry. Am not married to.
Okay. Okay. I was like, I don't know. I think that was Jeremy. I didn't catch the last one. You said overpopulation would be one of the problems. So tell me what came true. Obviously you didn't marry Jeremy, but tell me what came true out of any of that.
Well, I did go to school to be a horse trainer. That was my goal, and ended up with a degree in ag business. And now I'm an ag teacher. So kind of same field, same industry, but not in the way I thought it would be. But
okay, so kind of in the same area, right? You went kind of down the same track. But now, did you ever remember when you saw the footage? Do you remember recording the footage, or do you ever remember doing that?
When you started posting all that, I had no clue. I do not remember you guys doing that at all.
You had no memory of it. Okay.
No.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about that girl at that time. What do you remember about her? Was there anything in the video that you made you think about it, or anything you didn't recognize or thought was interesting?
I mean, I was ate up with horses, and I mean, that was what my plan was. I was going to be a horse trainer, and that was always what my goal was, and just didn't. It's not what ended up happening. So
got you. But you kind of stayed in the same area, so you kind of stayed in ag, and you teach ag and stuff. So you actually kind of stayed pretty close to the same genre of thing that you were thinking that you wanted to do. Now, with that said, a couple of things that I ask people. Number one, if you could go back and give that girl any advice, what would you tell her, or what advice would you give her?
Honestly, because being a teacher of high school kids, everybody's in such a big hurry to grow up and be an adult. And I actually just had this conversation with some of my kids the other day. They were like, I can't wait to get out of here. These are sophomores. I can't wait to graduate and be out on my own and do all this. I'm like, oh yeah, you can. Trust me. Paying bills sucks. You don't want to have to enjoy this while you can. Take your time, enjoy being in high school, enjoy having your parents have all the responsibility of your daily care, because it sucks once you get out and you have to do it on your own. Yeah,
right. They don't realize how good they have it. How
no, none of us
their
did.
life is at that time, right? Yeah, none of us did, right? Exactly. And now another thing I asked, and that's really good. Another thing that I ask is, and we archive the answer, what are you excited about for the future? Now, as we wrap up, I ask everybody if is there anything else you want to say, or anything that you want to throw in before we wrap up? We appreciate you taking the time. But anything?
I wish I could have been there at the reunion. I intended to come, but we were buying pigs. We were shopping for show pigs that day, and so I got home about 10:30 that night, and I'm like, oh, I should go ahead and go out there, but then I was gonna have to take a shower and do all the, was like
all the stuff. Yeah, I get it. No biggie. Well, we will see you at the next one, I'm sure, and then at the next one we can look and see what your future excitement was about. See if we continue down that road. But thanks a lot for taking the time and talking to us. We appreciate it, and enjoy that. And appreciate really that you took the time to do that with us today. But thanks, Amber.
You bet. See ya.
See you later.
Hey, Ethel, thanks for joining us after all this time. It's
good to see you too, man.
Awesome. We have some old footage, I think 31 years ago, and you made some predictions of what your life would be. So let's go ahead and check out the video and see what you got right and what you didn't. And we'll be back. So here's the footage.
In 20 years from today, what do you think you'll be doing for a living?
I'll be a veterinarian.
What type of family life will you have?
Husband and a kid.
What will be the problems of the world?
Overpopulation, pollution, and crime.
You have 15 to 30 seconds for any additional comments.
Good luck.
Okay, here we go. Man, you were really leaning there during that, weren't you?
I was, yeah, like I said, I was pretty much got my disaffected youth games. Nick that dead.
You were unimpressed with what we were doing for sure. You're like, whatever. Okay, let's see here. So the first thing you said is that you were going to be a vet. Now, are you with us from your vet office today?
Not currently a vet. I am in healthcare, just human healthcare.
Human healthcare. Okay. Now, do you remember? Was that something you really wanted to do then, or did you just make it up that day? Was that? Or do you? Now, number one, do you even remember the interview?
I do not remember this interview even a tiny bit. Still, even after watching it.
Okay. So, and was that a thing? Was that something you thought, or something you made up?
That was more like. That was something that the people like people in my life told me I should do. That's what they told me. My original idea was X, and they're like, "Oh no, you're too smart for that. You need to do this." And so that's how I ended up on that path.
Was it the people, or was it like one of those aptitude tests? I know they would do those aptitude tests, and they would go, "Hey, you're really going to be good at engine repair or something." I'd be like, "Ooh, that sounds horrible," or whatever. But was it that, or was it other people?
Yeah, it was like, they herded a bunch of us in and tested us in like, I don't know, 5th grade and called a bunch of us gifted and talented. And so
Mm-hmm.
after they dubbed me gifted and talented, and I would tell people, I want to be a zookeeper when I grew up. They're like, no, don't you mean a veterinarian at a zoo? You want to be a veterinarian. You're super smart. That's what you want to do. And so, I rolled with it for a little while.
Okay. So yeah, that explains it. And we talked about that. It's kind of funny how they kind of try to like set you on a track early, right? You'll do these.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you're going to be good at this, and it's nobody's been even close to what any of their tests, right? And you also said you'd have a husband and a kid. Did you end up having a husband or any kids?
I do have a husband and I do have some kids. Yeah. So, hey, there's just one out of two.
Hey, pretty good. Okay, there we go. We're at like 66 and 2/3%, I think. And then you were talking about, what was it? Problems of the world, right?
Yeah.
And what were the problems of the world? I can't remember. What was they?
Oh, what was it? Overpopulation and
Overpopulation, yeah.
And the environment and all the horrible things we have today that had then, that they were saying were horrible then.
Then you wrapped up and you said, good luck. Now, were you saying good luck to yourself? Like, good luck, Ethel. Hope you make it out there. What were you saying there?
I'm pretty sure I was talking to myself. Yeah. That young lady had a lot going on. So.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, tell me now, do you remember that girl back then? Tell me a little bit about who she was at that time and place. Do you remember what she was like or what you felt like she was like at that time?
Yeah, you said this was our junior year, so it's what, May of 91? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it would be just at the very end of our junior year, right before the senior year.
Okay, so in October of 91, I gave birth to a little girl that I gave up for adoption. And so that young lady in that chair is incredibly pregnant and has told 0 humans she knows that she's pregnant.
Wow, really?
So, yeah. So that whole disaffected youth thing was a don't look too close at me because you might notice I'm broken.
This is why she's like this right here. Like,
yes.
Camera
that
in
is
my
like
face.
hunched over, hiding everything about me. Yeah.
Oh my God. So you hadn't told anyone at that point that you're there. So, okay. So you were pregnant. You hadn't told anybody at that point, meaning that anybody outside your family, or you haven't told anybody?
I hadn't told anybody.
Wow.
That was
amazing.
all on my shoulders at that point. Yeah.
Unbelievable. So really, when you saw the footage, you probably were like, boo, like it came right to you, right?
Yeah. I was like, because at first I was like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? And then I remembered you had said what time it was. Like, oh, I know what's going on with her.
Got you.
She had a lot going on.
Wonderful. Yeah, a lot of people did. I've heard a lot of people have that. They've told stories on and off, but some people had said, yeah, I know where I was right then. Like, my home life wasn't good. I was doing this, or I was in this problem, or whatever the deal is. It's funny how they kind of can pinpoint themselves at that time and where they were. That's pretty cool. Now, if you could go back and tell that girl and give her any advice, what advice would you give her, Ethel, do you think?
Oh, man, I don't think that me as a middle-aged woman has any better advice than all the other middle-aged people that were in my life at the time trying to convince me what to do. I think if I had a second to talk to that young lady, I would tell her she's doing a damn fine job of playing and she was dealt. And I think I would have to say thank you because, like you said, everybody I've seen, they look at their little baby selves on these videos, and all we can think is, oh man, I know what happens next. And I just want to save them. I want to save little baby me. But you know what? I think maybe we're wrong. We should look at these little baby badasses that we were and remember, hey, that person got me through X, Y, Z. I am now raising my 4th teenager. Being a teenager sucks. Being in high school sucks. No matter what it is, like you said, everybody's had something that they were going through. And those little idiots, because I'm pretty sure that high school student is like originally Greek for idiot. Those idiots got us from there to here. And so we need to raise a glass to those little baby badasses rather than be like, oh, I want to save them. We should celebrate them because they got us here. I like my life. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty I owe her a great debt for doing all the things she had to do to get me here.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Great attitude to have with that. We all kind of, it's funny, some people who had a very short time to see their video, and then they, maybe an hour, and then they were interviewed, have a little bit different perspective than someone. I sent you yours, and you've had a few weeks to kind of look at it and think about it a bit. But it's funny that people who had a little longer to watch it and let it sink in, I think, look back and they view it differently. They view it. I think your first reaction is, I'm kind of embarrassed. Look at that person. What are you doing? You're doing this.
Yeah. Cringy. That's what they call it now. It's cringy.
And then you go, no, I think that kid did all right. I think they made it. So I agree with you. That's great.
If you take a minute and look around where you are now, you're like, she did okay. She did a good job.
So, next. So tell me what you are excited about for the future. Thanks for the answer. It's a really good answer. And we'll archive that one. Now let's get kind of to the end. As we wrap up, as we get to the finish here, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up, or as we go along, or anything that you want to finish with as we go? And before you do it, I'll say I really appreciate the awesome honesty. I think some things that we've got out of a few of these interviews, people just being very honest who they were in that time, and that for saying what it is. I think that's what makes gold. I think in some of these people watch and go, whoa, that's really interesting. And I think that you sharing that was pretty awesome. But anyway, anything you want to say as we wrap up here, Ethel?
You know, I have loved watching all of this. I have never made it to a reunion, but now I think I really want to sometime, because I really love getting to see all these people now and seeing where they are now. It's really awesome. And I just really appreciate everybody for participating. And I appreciate you for putting your time in. Like, this has been a great thing, I think, for all of us.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll bonds us in a different way that other classes probably aren't bonded, right? Something lost that's found, and we get to kind of group around it. I think it's something that may kind of a glue that may kind of mesh us long term. But I appreciate all the time, and I appreciate you taking time for us here. I know we tried to hit 2 or 3 times. It didn't work out. We've had busy lives, but we got it done, and you'll be in the final episode. I appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye, Ethel. Hey, Michelle, thanks for joining us here.
Hey, Kenny.
We opened some footage in a time capsule. We've been talking to people that attended the reunion and hanging out together. And I'm just going to stop for a second. I didn't interview you during the time, but I think I do have some footage of you walking around the background in the cafeteria that I'll post here. But I did want to give everybody a good picture here, if you can't see this, and we'll kind of superimpose in here when it's the time. Look at that haircut.
Oh, yeah.
What's it? Tell us about that girl. Tell us about that person in that time and place. What do you remember about her?
You know what? I don't remember much. I've done a lot of partying since then, but at 17, actually right before that picture, probably my stepfather died. And my mom, we were going through all that at that period of time. And I kind of checked out. So I was in and out of school, and, dropped out for a little while and came back in 93, tried to graduate. And I felt like I was in romper room after being in rehab and doing all my adult stuff. And then shortly after that, I was pregnant. So.
Okay, quite a ride. Yeah. But you kind of identify with her at that time. It was kind of a volatile time for you, huh?
Yeah. Come to think of it, seeing that picture, I haven't seen that picture in a long time. I didn't even know I was in the yearbook, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, you're absolutely there. Had that real short haircut. You had that.
That was that Some Kind of Wonderful Time. Remember that movie? The drummer girl. I had that haircut for 15 years, I think.
Wow.
15 years. Yeah, and then I grew it out.
That.
I did. I loved it so much. It was easy upkeep.
Well, it must have been some kind of wonderful then to keep it that long. No doubt.
I don't deal with change well.
If you could go back and give that girl some advice, you think about where you were at that time, right? You have a little bit of wisdom now. If you could give her some advice, what do you think you'd say to her?
You know, I wish you would have given me some warning. I probably would tell her to pay more attention in school and really do better at school, shoot for college and those types of things. Cause it was hard. It's been hard growing up without the education and things like that. You know, I went and got my GED. I didn't graduate. I 3 months before graduation, I dropped out. And, you know, I had my senior pictures. I had all that stuff. And I wasn't a bad, terrible student. I literally checked out. So
yeah. I think that's common for a lot of kids just with the volatile life, right? Or have things that happen. That's not very uncommon. Doesn't mean they're bad, even a bad student, right?
Yeah.
Now I was a bad student. I had everything going for me, and I was just a pain in the butt. But I had no turmoil. I just had a bad attitude. Yeah. But no, that's very common, right? To kind of look back and go, "Oh man," but it kind of puts a head on your shoulders.
Yeah, no, it does. But you know what? I wouldn't trade the things that I've been through. They make me who I am today, for real. I've been through a lot. I mean, here I am, 48, and I've just moved back to Oklahoma after being gone for 30 years, and I'm starting over from scratch. So it's been kind of a wild ride, but I'm getting old. It's time to settle down and build my legacy now. My grandson and all that good stuff. So
absolutely. Now, one thing I have been asking people just to go into the vault is, what are you excited about for the future? Great answer to it. And as we wrap up here, so is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up here in the end after all these years? This is your chance to say whatever you want.
This is my big chance.
This is your big chance now.
It's my big chance. I almost didn't stay for this reunion, and I'm telling you, I would have been so pissed at myself if I'd have missed it. That was the most fun. It was so cool to reconnect with you and Kurt and Ming and just everybody, just reconnect with everybody. We had the best time, and it all started from the moment that I came downtown and I ended up in the bar with you guys. What was that, Long Shots that we went?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it was so much fun. And you know what? I'm looking forward to us all getting together like soon. Like, let's do a weekend in Oklahoma City or just have some more fun. It's amazing.
Sure. I agree. No, awesome. I think it was a great time. I think everybody gelled I think what this footage has kind of done is kind of gel everybody too in a different way. A lot of people don't have a chance to, but that's it. That's it. I'll wrap up with you, but I appreciate you taking the time just for a second, and we'll let you go. And maybe, hopefully it won't be another 31 years, but we'll see you again before too long, girl.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, Brendy, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us here as we kind of wrap up the project and do a few things. I wanted to talk to you for a few different reasons. We have some pictures of you that came out of the time capsule, and I think somewhere of you playing, I think a couple of you playing basketball, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, let me show those real quick. Here we go. Okay, so we have some pictures of you that were in there. Also, so were you on the year? How did the pictures of you get in the time capsule? Were you on the yearbook team, or how did you insert yourself in there? How did they get in there?
No, I didn't even know that we did a time capsule. I knew nothing about the time capsule. So I don't know. Joby, I think, was part of the yearbook. So I mean, I know that I had some of those pictures that somebody had given me, but I had no idea about the time capsule. I don't remember anything about it.
Okay, so we don't know who actually built the time capsule yet, or who took those pictures. Okay, I've been trying to figure that out. I thought you might know that.
No, I had no idea.
Okay, and I figured somebody we may know was maybe on the yearbook committee and probably put them in there. But anyway, okay, so it's still a mystery there. So anyway, you've watched all the episodes up till now. You were there when we opened the time capsule, and you gave me the tapes and so on and so forth. So you were kind of an integral part in handing those off to me as we went and started this. The
Now, as you look back through all this and you see the girl in those photos, can you tell me anything about that person in those photos and that time? What do you
Oh,
remember about her?
I don't know. I loved basketball, and the camaraderie.
Yeah.
What is that the word? Okay. I don't know. I loved basketball. It's all about that. But as far as my future went, I was like you. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I don't know. I loved high school. I loved everything about high school.
Gotcha. So you enjoyed it. You enjoyed the
Yeah,
whole. You
I
were good
did.
at school and good at sports, and
Yeah.
unlike some of us, we were horrible at those things, but you were good at those things.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
somewhat,
but
yeah.
I liked it.
Now looking at her now and looking back, is any advice you would have given her there?
Oh my gosh, this is hard. I don't know. I just seriously like you. I had no idea what part, where I wanted to go, where I wanted to work, what I wanted to do. I did go to college and play basketball for a year, but I even then I had no direction on what I wanted to do with my life. So
Like you just hadn't seen what you wanted to do. Like, oh, I'm going to do that. You just hadn't. Yeah, you're just like, I don't know. Yeah.
No idea. Like not even like get married and have kids. I mean, I just had no idea what I wanted out of life, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And it might have been good, right? I think some people thought they had a path and the paths never worked out. It might have been better just to winging it until you figured out what it is. Maybe that's what the 20s should be, is trying to figure out what you want to do, right?
Yeah. Trying to figure everything out because you just don't know. I don't know. I didn't know. I had no idea.
Okay, I agree. I agree with you there. So now I did some earlier episodes and I didn't think about this particular question, but you and Janelle seem to be part of the planners and part of the people who kind of coordinated everything. Now, how did the time capsule come into, do you know how the time capsule came into your hands or Janelle's hands? Who did it come to and how did it get there?
Jason Harrison works at the high school and they were cleaning out closets or something. And they found it. He found it and called Janelle. So she went and got it. And so, I mean, she didn't open it. She just kept it until our class reunion since it was coming up anyway. So, I mean, we had no idea what all was in there.
Got you.
So she held it at her house until our reunion came up.
And you guys never peeked at it. You promise you never peeked at it. Okay, it looked like it was sealed. It was pretty dusty. I thought, I don't think anybody's broken into that. So I think it's sealed the whole time.
Because I asked her, I'm like, are you going to peek? And she was like, no. She didn't peek. So we had no idea what was in there.
I wanted to.
She wanted to really bad, but she didn't.
So, and that was about how long? Now, I guess she's back there. I don't know. You may know, but how long did you hold on to it before the reunion? Like you got it 2 weeks before or 1 month before? Or how long did she hold on to it before?
2 years, 3 years.
Really? That long?
In my laundry. Yeah. I had it on a shelf in my laundry room and I would look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to look in that so bad, but I'm not going to because I want to be surprised. Yeah. That's how long I've had it.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking a couple months. Man, I don't know if I would have waited that long. I don't know if I could have done that. I would have been snooping in it, I think. That's a strength.
Look, if I took that crusty old tape off of it, I wouldn't have been able to get it back how it was, and everyone would have known. So yeah. I did it.
You were a liar. Yeah, it was only the problem of us knowing that you were a liar is the only thing that kept you from it. I think it sounds like, hey, we got other people in the back. So as we're going along here, something I ask everybody else, and we archive the answer. What are you excited about for the future? As we wrap up, and I'll let you get back to all of your other stuff. Anything else you want to say about anything as we wrap up, or any comments you want to make, or anything about the reunion or the videos or just the project in general you want to say as we kind of wrap everything up here, Brandy?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed what you've done with, all the videotape and everything. And it's just awesome. It's turned out to be a fantastic project because, back then the technology today, it's just,
yeah, you didn't have a video
camera
in your hand.
Everything's on video. My kids, I tell them all the time, you're always going to be on video now, and then what you've done to it and to hear what everybody's responses have been. And I really think everybody enjoyed the reunion. I mean, I know it was just like on the way to the reunion, Janelle and I were like, oh my God, we're so tired. Just, I think from the buildup of, just planning it and getting it ready, and we were tired. And then, oh my God, it just was amazing. I thought it was amazing to see everybody and to hear what people's, that they enjoyed it also. It just means a lot, I think, to everybody. I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was awesome to see everybody.
Yeah, me too. I think everybody had a great time. I think also too, I think you guys did a really good job of we all talked and everybody kind of set a tone before we started of hey, let's kind of meet everybody on the same plane and have a nice time here and get together. And I think everybody kind of came into it, just, looking to just see everybody and not just meet your old friend, but also reintroduce yourself to your old friends.
Right.
You go, oh, let's meet them as, being in their 40s or late 40s or whatever the age they were and do it. But I think that it was interesting for all of them. But I just wanted to say thanks to you guys for kind of working on it and putting it all together and organizing it all. And get in there, Janelle. Get in there, Janelle.
Which we had a lot of help Saturday. The girls help on this decorate, but the planning going up to it was worth every bit of it. We had a great.
We're like, we're never doing this again. And then after it was over,
we're like, oh my God, let's do it in 5 years. Let's not wait 10. Cool.
Well, we'll wrap up and let you guys get back to what you were doing. But I appreciate you stopping and letting us record you and interview you again here at the end. And we'll see if we can work it into the last episode. And who knows, maybe we'll wait a while and catch a few of those other people over time and do a season 2 later. So, and release some raw footage, but I appreciate it, guys.
Okay. Thank you, Kenny.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, Scott, thanks for joining us. We have some really old footage, right? I didn't interview you, but we have some really old footage of you, and I sent it. Did you go ahead and take the time to look at it earlier?
Yeah, I did, unfortunately.
Got you. So I'm going to play some of the footage. The way I remember it is that you and I were at the school. We had Future Day, and we were supposed to just talk about the future. And then you and I drove down in my car, I believe, and we went downtown and just took some footage of the town, came back, and then you were holding the camera a lot of the time. So in the beginning of a lot of this footage, when I'm interviewing, you're running the camera in that time. So and then I have some extra footage I'll put on the end of you, end after we're done here. But here, let's go to the footage, and then we'll come back.
Downtown Maine in Woodward. It's very big, as you can go around and see. It's quite big. The biggest thing you want to see around here. That's one of the modern day studs, or wannabes anyways. They call Woodward Tree City. Quit it, man. Give me in the head. Here's Napa for your car brakes. You can get parts to get it fixed there. Here's the used car place. You can buy cars that have already been used before. That's why they call them used cars. Here you go, Kenny. I'll open the door. Here's Doc Burns. Here's a dog. Get him on there. Hey. The woman's bathroom.
Okay, there we go. We're downtown. You're talking about how big downtown is. First of all, before we start, huge, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember any of that, or do you remember taking the footage at all?
So yeah, I don't remember the details of it, of course, until I watched it. But yeah, I remember doing that. I remember we had a pretty good time doing it. Um, yeah, some of it was kind of embarrassing, but yeah, it was good. It was a good day.
Yeah, absolutely. It at some point you went away, and then Jack kind of came in, and I ran the camera. I'm not sure why you left. I was trying to watch the footage to figure out why you left. I think you had to be somewhere. You had to go to a class, or I don't remember what it was, but you had to leave and go do that. Tell me a little bit about that guy at that space and time where he was and who he was. Can you tell me about him?
Yeah, the funny thing is, Kenny, is watching, kind of some of the other videos of some of the other guys in our class. I found myself in a similar spot, just trying to figure out, I think, who I was and, what I wanted to do, what kind of person I guess I really wanted to be. Um, it was really kind of funny to see that version of yourself, it just because, I mean, obviously a lot of us are not that person anymore, obviously. And so it was just kind of surreal to watch that.
Now, at the time, you think of that guy, you think of who he was and where you are now, and whatever career path you took and where you're at. Is there any advice you would give that guy looking at him there, and running the camera and talking? What advice would you give him?
I think the advice I'd give that guy is you don't have anything to prove to anybody but yourself. I think during that period of my life, Kenny, probably like a lot of others, I kind of had a chip on my shoulder. A lot of you guys were, from there, a lot of you born in Woodward, all that. And, of course, I don't come rolling in until about sixth grade, and for me, I think almost to the point we were juniors and seniors, I always felt like I was playing catch up. And I think that worked against me a little bit instead of just kind of relaxing and just kind of, doing me, I guess, if you will. And so I think, if I could go back and say, okay, reset a couple of things, it might be that, honestly.
When you said you were playing catch up, do you mean that you hadn't quite found like a core group to hang with or a lot of good friends? What do you mean by playing catch up?
No, it wasn't that, because I mean, I think most of us can agree. And when I talk to people about high school, the thing I always was proud of our class is, everybody just kind of crossed over into everybody's group. Yeah, you had your set groups, but it wasn't uncommon to see one person hanging out with one from one group hanging out with a person from another group. Like that wasn't a big deal. For me, I just felt like, there were a lot of like inside jokes and inside this and that I was just behind on. And, maybe, there were people, I don't know, that I didn't try to know. And I really wished I would have, so stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot about high school, and we probably all agree this too, that I look at that kid and I'm like, dude, I'm not impressed at all. It's like, but,
yeah, right.
But it is what it is, right? I mean, it's part of our growth as people. And yeah, I mean, but I mean, but thinking of that at the same time, watching everybody's videos and stuff, I just found myself so proud of everybody, right? Everybody that you've talked to, so proud of you and just kind of the kind of people everybody has become. And, it was, I don't know, it's just really, really cool to watch. It made me really regret not being able to be at the reunion. I would have loved to have just had a couple of moments and get to experience that like you guys did. So I'm jealous a little bit. I wish I would have been there.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was interesting. I had a little bit of, and I haven't shown all of this footage yet, but you and I go and we leave and we go to Sonic. And then we hang out at Sonic, and you are sitting in my car and you record me, and we order food from Sonic, and we kind of go down to downtown, and then we go, show off downtown, and I'll put some of that in this. And then we go by, I think, the Peppermint Lounge and a few other places. And I think you say, the kind of guy I'd wanted to marry my daughter, or date my daughter or something. You just have some funny things that you kind of say here and there.
And now I have daughters. Yeah.
And
about
then,
that?
but you had some good lines in there. And I think at one point you like throw a rock and hit me in the head while I'm recording.
Yeah, sorry about that, brother.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was all these years. I want my apology now. But it was fun to kind of look at that. One thing I do ask people is as we go along here, I think you were a really integral part of the recordings. You spent a lot of time behind the camera and shooting this stuff. Jack Anna spent a lot of time in front and back, and we kind of moved. But it was mostly shot. You, me, and Jack shot a large portion of the thing. And at first, when I first started watching it, I was like, okay, there's somebody in the car. And I remembered it as you, and I kept going through it. And then I saw you. I was like, okay, I was right. That was Scott. But it's interesting after all this time that all three of us kind of shared responsibilities in kind of shooting or doing that stuff. So I wanted to definitely want to get an interview with you because you're such a key component of it. But
yeah,
as you move forward, another question: what are you excited about for the future, Scott? Kind of went
I've
on.
been meaning to reach out to you a lot sooner when you started, but I mean, you know how it goes. I mean, I had a lot going on at the time, and I just didn't have the bandwidth. And then, you put out the 2-minute warning, if you will, and I'm like, wait, Kenny, I want to be a part of this. And I mean, at first, I wasn't going to, simply because I wasn't there, right? And I was like, I'm not going to be that guy. But then, gosh, I saw a couple of people that did it with you that weren't there. And I'm like, oh, okay, I feel a little bit better about it. Kenny probably wants all comers. And so that's when I reached out to you.
Absolutely. And I think that's the cool thing about
this.
this.
I told you we'd have a 5-year-old.
I knew we'd have a 5-year-old. You said it. You predicted it before we started. A 5-year-old would come. Put him in the frame at least.
I knew.
Him in the frame
she
at
hears
least.
me talking in my office, and she can't help herself.
Put her in the frame.
We'll get one over here, but come eat.
We're wrapping up, and so we want to see you. Come on, come see us.
So this one's my youngest. This is Ellie Grace. Can you say hi, Kenny?
Hi, Kenny.
Hey, Ellie.
Where did you get those?
I got those on my dive trip. You want them? You can have them.
I got all of them.
Yeah, give me a kiss, though.
Cool.
All right, go play.
We're going to ask your dad one more question.
Whoa, bag.
All right.
So as we wrap up here, Scott, as we get going,
yeah, man.
Is there anything you want to say as we wrap up, or anything that you want to just say as we get into the last episode and wrap up the first season of this project?
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know, Kenny. Put me on the spot. I think sorry I couldn't be there. I promise I'll do better. Yeah, just kind of like what I was saying earlier, just how proud I am of everybody and how everybody's doing. I couldn't be more thrilled. It's really, really cool to see. And it was kind of an unexpected surprise, to be honest with you. I mean, I've ran into a few people, but it's rare when I see somebody from Woodward anymore. So to get to see this and an opportunity to reconnect, I think is super cool. And I'm really glad that you did it, man. I really am. It's very cool. And I appreciate you for it.
Awesome. Well, that's it. I think we'll wrap it up. And thanks for taking the time. I know you were running all around all week and worked us in here at the last minute, but I appreciate it. And you'll be in the final episode, and we'll have a good time here. And I hope to see you sooner than 31 years. Come on, don't wait another 31 years. Okay?
Yeah, we'll work on. Well, you're down at DFW, right? So
yeah.
I'm down there all the time, man. I text me your number and stuff. Next time I'm down there, I'll buy you a drink.
Perfect. Sounds good. We'll see you soon.
All right, brother. Take care.
Thanks, sir. Hey, Taylor, thanks for joining us today. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, but we're going to pick back up and do this again. We have a little bit of footage from an old time capsule, and you stopped and you gave us a prediction of the future. So we're going to watch that footage, come back, and we're going to see what came true and what didn't. Are you ready for this?
I think.
Okay, here we go.
I'm playing volleyball on the professional volleyball tour, and I'm going to be married. To who? State your name. My name is Taylor Burnett, alias LL Cool Tay.
Okay, let's see here. Couple predictions here. The first one was that you'd be a professional volleyball player and on tour. So are you with us from the tour today?
Yes. Yep. From Woodward, Oklahoma, the volleyball tour. I'm in my Speedo from, the waist down. So that's just my attire I wear all the time now. No, it did not happen. Not at all, unfortunately.
It never happened? Or
never, ever,
now
ever,
you're retired out of it. Never happened.
Yeah,
Oh.
It's called athleticism, something that I thought I had and I don't have at all. Yeah, that's what it takes. Yep. No.
Okay. Well, we're bad on that one. Okay. The other one was pretty vague, and it was, I would probably be married. Not I would be married, I probably. So did you probably get married?
I did probably get married. 25 years now, actually. So yeah, I mean, not too far after that. Greatest thing to ever happen to me, meeting my wife in college at the tail end. Changed my trajectory in life and gave me the best 3 gifts possible with my daughters. And if there's ever needed to be a girl dad, it was probably me. I probably needed that. But yeah, I am married and very, very thankful for so.
Awesome. Okay, as we look back, the other thing is I never knew you had an alias too in high school. I saw it was alias LL Cool J. I thought that was a rapper, but I guess that was your alias, huh?
Now LL Cool Tay.
Oh, LL Cool Tay. Sorry, I misheard
it. And Lawson was LL. So it was the Boom Brother thing is what it was. We all had nicknames, when Hamilton's mom made us hammer pants back in the day that we would rock. But yeah, that was LL Cool Tay. Yes.
Okay, that's even better. I heard it as LL Cool J, but LL Cool Tay is even cringier. I like it.
There you go. I mean, that's
I only interviewed you because I said who was more cringy than me in this these interviews. I think Taylor. But that even I feel better now.
Yeah.
No.
There you go.
So let's talk about that guy. If we went back in time and think about yourself, tell me about Taylor at that time. Who was he and what was he like? Do you still remember what that guy was like?
Well, a little bit, and I think my wife tells me all the time that I haven't matured, but just immature, wanting to have fun, not caring about much other than my friends, honestly, and girls, and drinking. I was fun back then. That so the greatest thing is I found old annuals, and I sent a picture when Jack took his picture with the cowboy hat. And Jack, the funniest thing response ever is he goes, "That guy knew how to party." I think
yeah, no doubt.
A lot of us really did from out here. That's what we had to do. Being friends with everybody, getting to know everybody. That's where you're blessed to grow up in a town like Woodward, Oklahoma. Woodward is a place that I swore I would never, ever, ever, ever move back to. Because looking back on it, I thought I hated it.
Yeah.
My wife and I were in Oklahoma City and we're needing a change, and I was ready to start a family. And I said, "Hey," she's from Kingfisher, and she goes, "Let's move to Kingfisher." I said, "Well, let's move to Woodward, wherever the job may be." And we just knew it wasn't Oklahoma City. And here I am. And I don't regret anything at all.
Wonderful. Awesome. Now, and I look at that guy. Now, it's something I ask everybody else too is, do you have any memory of being on camera there or having the interview?
No.
Right? Symbols hanging on you.
Yeah.
And giving you a little deal there. So you have no memory of it?
No memory of it. Now, Shane just grabs in my butt the whole time when we see each other more than anything. That's what we really do. And we look longingly in each other's eyes. No, I don't remember that at all. The other thing is you've inspired me. Gretchen gave me a time capsule, and I need to look through that because I don't know if there's tapes. I'm going to assume there possibly could be because she'll never come back to Woodward. She knew she'd never come back to Woodward. She gave those to me. So I'm going to go up in the attic and when I get my Christmas ornaments out and Christmas lights and look at that. Hopefully I don't get stuck up there looking at those like Chevy Chase and Christmas Vacation. And get locked up there. But yeah, I'm excited, honestly.
There's a good chance that there is something in there. I did send during this. I had a short clip of Gretchen, and I sent it to her, and it's of her in the cafeteria, and she has a camera, and she's videotaping me while I'm videotaping her. We're just zooming back and forth.
So there's a good chance that you may have some footage in there, because I didn't know when we got ours. I was like, well, they brought it out and I said, I don't know if those tapes are in there, but if they are, I know what's on them. No, almost no one had a memory of it, but there's a good chance that you have them there.
It'll be interesting to see if I said the same dumb butt thing that I said in the hall previously. Will be the interesting.
Well, yeah, the part of what I did when they found it and they brought out the tapes and they didn't know what the tapes were, and I think I was the only one who remembered the tapes, and I did. I told Jack in my other interview. Brandy said, "Hey, can you convert these?" And I said, "Yeah, let me have those, because I don't know what I said." I'm taking
that. Smart move. Smart.
I'm going to take these back, and anything I said that would be really horrible, I'm going to cut out. And I've cut out a couple things. I won't lie to you. I mean, not bad things. But I'm like, I've cut that one out. Yeah.
Well, I'm in control of them. I'm in possession of them if they do exist, and I am pumped. Let me tell you.
If you need me to do any blurring or cutting or whatever it works, then get a hold of me. No. But no, it has been an interesting thing from that perspective. Now, a few things that I do ask people is, what are you excited about for the future? Okay, 2 more questions as we wrap up. If you could go back, and let's assume that guy would listen. I don't know if he would listen or not. I do remember, I think I remember this correctly, and you can tell me if this is correctly, or if I'm correct. I remember you having a red Jeep, and then I think you drove it, and then I remember you playing it beside each other, and you had something you squeezed, and you had a guy who mooned people. Is that right?
Yes, that is so correct. Yes. Even when Horsecutter got shot, Trooper Horsecutter, we would do that to when the manhunt was going on. Young would be in the back doing that the whole time, and I'm like, dude, thank goodness we weren't drinking at that point. But yeah, I definitely did. And if it was still around, I'd have it right now.
Yeah, I remember that. When we drove out, when they were searching for him, we drove out of town. I was in the car with you.
Okay.
When he was doing that, absolutely. That's the memory I have. And we went back, and the cops stopped us. The cops said, "Hey, hold up." They're like looking in the car to make sure we're not moving a convict or something, right? And
because there were about 7 of us, maybe.
Yeah. And then I just remember this little guy mooning the cops as we were there. Okay, they're gonna run us.
I'm glad that's the impression I left, is my red Jeep and the guy that mooned, not anything else. That makes me feel great.
The most serious situation in the world, and you go, hey, let's go out there and screw around, right? Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, what advice would you give that guy?
Probably live your own life. Live life for you. Honestly, define success the way you want it defined, not the way that success needs to be defined through other people's eyes. I think that's when we're younger, we don't kind of know what we're doing, but yet we do as well. And take risks when you're younger. Take all those risks you possibly can, because when you get old and decrepit like me, you hurt yourself in your sleep. You pull a hamstring in your sleep. You wake up and your neck hurts. So enjoy it. That's what a lot of it is, and spend more time with those around you that you love. Life is precious.
Okay, here we go. As we wrap up, is there anything else you want to say, or any last comments you want to make as we wrap up this whole project?
Thank you for having me on more than anything. I felt like I was closer to the guys in your class. Little known fact, I tried to get held back in the 8th grade because I was even 17 in college for a while. I probably should have been. Your class is very, we thought about Jeff Dick and I, he's a year older than myself, and I've talked to other people. And Lonnie Lawson, I saw him last week. I go, why don't we all just get together, the 3 classes as well, instead of just, because we all were very tight. And I want to thank Jack and your class for everything that you've done for the Brawley Foundation. I miss that guy every day. Here, I printed him out because I actually, in my adult beverage, the refrigerator in the garage, I go and have a beer with him. Every time I go and get an adult beverage, he's there. He's there with me. So yeah.
Well, we'll in the last episode we did put a link to the people to
Yes.
donate, and
Yep.
we'll be doing that in the final episode too at the end, that people can click through if they've enjoyed all these and watching all these episodes and like it. We want them to donate to the cause, and so
How can they not? You know, what I want to commend you, and I want to commend all of those that have done the interview, because it's growing. You know, you guys are all growing through this process. You guys are all reliving some things, and the openness that some of these people have just blows me away. And then, you know, I sit back and I think, man, was I there for everybody? You know, did I offend? And I know I offended everybody. I offend people every day, but you know, did I apologize and let everybody know, hey, I love you? You know, I mean, that's what everybody, we need more love, and what you're doing is spreading that, dude.
Yes.
And it's incredible, Kenny.
I think the tape, I'm glad I took it, and I'm glad I did all these interviews, but I think it's been kind of a glue for everyone. It's kind of been a glue that's kind of merged everybody together. And all I've heard after this is, I'm not going to miss another one. People who didn't come, I'm not going to miss the next one. I'm not going to miss the next one. So I think it's caused everyone, I think we look at each other. If I haven't seen you in 30 years, I look at you and I just see you as the guy in the red Jeep mooning people with your thing, right? I don't.
And I see you with the glorious mullet. You know, I mean, yeah, for sure.
And I think everybody goes, oh, well, I'm different. And man, look at whether we did stupid stuff, whether we said stupid things, whether we said stuff that I'm sure was offensive and inconsiderate, that we look back and go, oh, they're not really those people anymore. And
no question.
People. So I think it's been pretty, I think it's been some gold. I think it's been a powerful thing in that way. But anyway, I'll wrap up and let you get back to what you're doing. I see you got a Pistol Pete there on your.
Yeah.
Isn't there a game today later on?
There is a game today. I turned down tickets because I'm too old. It's 6:30 at night. And believe this is the funniest thing. My wife is out of town. I have to feed sheep. Who would have ever thought that Taylor Burnett? All three of my daughters are in FFA. Dude, I didn't know what FFA was. It was a place those guys went and dipped and, you know, cut up things. And here I am. I'm staying back to feed sheep.
Yeah, well, that's how you know. That's how you know that the peak of your partying is over, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You want to go to the game? I got sheep to feed.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. Exactly.
Well, awesome. Thanks for all the banter and talk and the honesty. And we'll see you in the last episode. And if you open the time capsule and there's something else there, you know where to send it.
Done deal.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mrs. Dick, how are you doing after all these years?
Just fine, thanks, Kenny. Nice to be here.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, we have some old footage from 31 years ago. We had a bunch of students and people make predictions of what they would be doing in 20 or 30 years. And so let's go ahead and watch your footage real quick, and then we'll come back and see what you got right and what you didn't get right, okay?
That sounds good.
Be doing in 20 years.
20 years.
Go ahead, put on the act for us. The old wobbling cane look.
Well, I'll probably be a little stiffed over. And I'll be retired and living in
Rest home.
Buenos Aires.
oh no, I'm somewhere exotic. London.
London. What are you going to be doing? What's your occupation?
Enjoying life because I'll be retired and I will have made so much money from teaching
Maybe
school.
reading books.
Oh, right. Reading books. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, here we go. A lot to deconstruct here. Let's go over it. So, first of all, you said you would be probably stooped over with a cane. Are you stooped over with a cane?
No cane. No cane.
No cane.
Some
Well,
days,
good. Very
some
good.
days, some days maybe a little stooped, but no cane.
Okay. So you said you'd be stooped over with a cane. You said you'd be retired and you're going to be living in London. So are you retired and are you joining us from London today?
I am retired, and I'm joining you from Oklahoma City today.
Okay.
I think that if I've got the years straight, I think we were either planning a trip to London or had gone to London. So that was on my brain. I thought it was a great
Got you. So that is probably the reason. But I was going to ask you if you planned on going to London, or if you at least vacationed to London, didn't you? Right?
We did. We did.
Good. The other thing is you said you would be enjoying your life and reading books. So are you doing both of those?
I'm doing both of those. I've always, got a book going, or more than one at the same time. And I'm definitely enjoying my life. Jerry and I live in Oklahoma City, and our daughter Jennifer and her family live in Edmond. So we get to see them a lot. And Brian and his wife and child live in Los Angeles. And we were just out there a couple of weeks ago too for Halloween.
Wonderful. Oh, good. Well, they're close. So well, you have got some of it right. You're at least retired. We got that part.
That's right.
And reading books. Now, do you remember being interviewed or any of that video when you saw it? Did you have any memory of it?
Not at all. Sorry.
Okay. Nothing. Nobody did. There's about 3 people that barely had a vague memory of it. But so a few things that I do ask of everyone when we're kind of going through the interviews is, like, what do you remember about your life at that time, or that person at that time? How is that person different than the person we're talking to now?
Well, much younger. 30 years younger. That's a big difference. And that was the time that my kids were teenagers, 15 and 13. Now my grandchildren are about that age. And, but of course I was working full time, as was Jerry. And so, our lives were, wrapped around our children and our work.
Got you. And also something I ask, and we just kind of ask the other people, looking back just over 30 years, and you kind of see yourself, is there any advice you would have given that lady at that time right then? Anything you can look back now and go, I probably would have told her this?
Stop perming your hair.
That's good. That's probably solid advice.
I know I can still remember Brian bugging me about it even back then. I should have listened to him. And when I told him you were doing this, he said something about the picture. I said, I'll send it to you. And I said something about my hair. And he goes, I bet it's curly. I said, yeah, it's curly.
Yep, he was right. It was curly. What are you excited about for the future? That's the next question. Well, thank you so much. We'll wrap up here. I won't take up much more of your time, but I wanted to thank you for taking the time and just looking at the old footage and telling us a little bit about it. We appreciate catching up with you. Any last comments before we get off here? Anything else you wanted to say before we wrap up?
Well, not really, except I did tell Brian what you do. He thought that was really cool. He was really excited about it. He's works in this area, and so he thought it's a project that you're doing, Kenny.
Cool. Well, we'll send him a copy, definitely.
Okay, good.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
And I'll send you the finished product, and you have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye. Thank you.
So I guess we're at a pause in our journey now. I mean, I say pause because we still have classmates to interview. We still have stories to tell about the past and what will be the future. And will that be a year? Maybe 5 years? 10 years? Maybe another 31 years? Only time will tell. I was debating on how to end the episode. Do I reflect on what it was like interviewing old friends? Do I show some bonus footage? Do I just let the screen fade to black and gold? I decided to end with some wisdom, to end with the best quotes from the interviews. Words from the people that made this all possible. I hope to see you all soon. And...
Baby, you're still looking good.
This is 1991. I'll see you in a couple of years. 2 weeks. I had to do that. Shut it off. Hurry.